we are going to try to replace the digestion flow to our head. And Maya Chakarol is here. She is alumni 2013-14.
Se tu si jest.
You think you change one. Or we can fix both. Thank you, whatever you want. Okay. So we thought that this workshop is more, actually this first part, is more like a discussion between all of us, and I didn't make a firm frame of this, let's say, conversation, because I really wanted to see the range of the participants, the subjects that we would tackle through the morning, and amazingly, what I had in mind turned out to be something that we can just follow up on what Fadila said previously. So this is why I actually suggested this title, Social Media and Global Networking, to reach some kind of result together that we might be better connected regionally, because I noticed that everybody is connected with our cohorts from all over the world, but sometimes I'm surprised to see that I don't know people from our region who went on country fellowship or Brown or whatever is in that actually Fulbright and similar circle. And that's why I said, I know that some people who are newcomers, they are millennials, and for them social media is something they grew up with. People like me had a complete change. I mean, they are natives and we are converted, and people converted from the paper as myself. I was afraid that there wouldn't be too many people like me who will say what social media, I mean, it's something completely self-comprehended, and it's, of course, it's about global networking, what else? So I just wanted to talk with you. That's why I have to ask you, we know who several people are because we were together, why you wanted to come here, and when you saw the description of this workshop, what do you expect of it? I don't know, Ariana, I could understand. Branka? Sanya, why did you come to this workshop? What do you expect that we would tackle, that we would have together out of this?
I'm a teacher. And as a teacher, I can see that social media are getting more and more important in the world, both for me as a teacher and for journalists and other people in this world. And networking is important too in every profession, teaching and others.
So connect with your pupils.
And not with my pupils, but with other teachers.
I see. For some time, I was teaching at the Faculty of Political Science, and I had to teach conversion of media, which is your part. And when I see students like these are the students of the Faculty of Political Science, and I came to them and I said, I'm supposed to teach about something that is in your blood. So, I mean, how can I teach you anything about social media? You can teach me. But what I can emphasize and what I can give you with my experience is the knowledge and the awareness of the content. So why we are all here to talk, to keep the fire going, because the first social media was in the cave, people gathering around the fire, and actually we are just keeping that fire still in the world. And it seems like in the time of globalization, it seems to me at least, to say, if you think it's not the case, it is easier to connect globally with people of your views, of your, I don't know, profession, some similar organization to yours, anywhere in the world, than to people who are living next to your door. So I want us to think together, if it is possible, to us Humphrey Fellows and people who would become Humphrey Fellows or are from other programs or not in any program, how can we connect to really make this work better in our region? Because here the main problem is to refuse to be Balkans. No, you are Balkans. No, you are Balkans. No, we are not Balkans. We are just on the south. No, we are just on the little bit call it. The region is the Mediterranean region, we can call it, the European region, we can call it, South Europe, whatever. But I think just to be together in whatever we think of like region. But maybe in the countries where we really need activation and conversation. And maybe through the conversation we can come really to the change that Fabiola mentioned. So of course, for the social media, when I came to Arizona, I didn't even have a Facebook account. And what happened was a sudden activation because Dr. Bill used my unawareness of the situation and suggested to me to go to honor students to online media course, and they were like, students of 18 years of age who knew everything about all of that, and I was like, it was hard, but we did something. So activation, branding, and conversations are ABCs of what we are going to talk today. I'm sure that you've seen this. Some people call it conversation flower. Some people call it social media strategy. So I was taught back there in Arizona that social media is not just posting the video of my cat, which I'm doing, and there are people who like it, but actually that I have to do some strategy to brand myself, to brand my profession, my organization, whoever I want, but to have a strategy and to know what I want out of it. So students, of course, they are on Snapchat, everybody's on Snapchat, probably. On Instagram, of course, nobody's on Facebook, I'm sure, not anymore. What about Twitter?
It's not existing in Croatia.
Twitter?
I mean, it does,
Yeah,
but it's...
It does, but I think that just a little quick advice, students of political science, and especially journalists, go to Twitter because that's where the news is.
May I say something? So I think Twitter is very important, especially in education. And today I'm leading a Twitter chat. So this is also an important piece of information for everybody that discussions are happening on Twitter with like-minded people. So you can really share whatever you know with other people from all over the world. So I hope to have about maybe 500 people today from all over the world in this chat tonight. So if you are on Twitter, join us.
A lot of teachers like to.
Yes.
But the biggest task, I think, is to choose which I want to follow, because there are so many of them. And LinkedIn, of course, because we are professionals. Facebook, because we are older people, or Instagram to see what youngsters are doing. I'm not yet on the Snapchat because I really don't have time anymore to go to more things. That's why. But I will, I promise. And just to go quickly to the science of social media, that is also something that I've learned in Arizona. When I met Dawn Gilpin, it was her second year of academic teaching of social media. And it was really a breakthrough. I mean, it's like, for people to organize their little meetings and parties, and now they're teaching at Arizona State University about it. So it should have been something really big. So just to go quickly, 7 types of social media networks, so these are that we know, blogs that we know, wikis, Wikipedias, all of this, podcasts, we have any kind of audio and put it on the websites or wherever we want. Forums and chat rooms, it's not so much anymore, I think, because it goes more quickly, who has time to chat with people, and microblogging like Tumblr and things like that. I suggest Twitter too, okay. Now, it was like for just short, but now you microblog as you can. Because in the beginning, it was like so little, such a little number of signs because we were used to use big messages, and now you have to squeeze. I can only suggest to everybody, if you didn't try any of this, try. Because it's really great. If you start blogging, like just writing for yourself a diary, maybe you will come up with something. Try to do one post for Wikipedia. It's very instructive, and these guys who are administrators, they are horrible. They will just cut you, but don't lose your feet. So whatever from here is available, I'm just suggesting to try. So this thing is something that was, I'm going to show you mine. No, it's not that. Just a moment. I have to escape to go to something better. This is my our Arizona Generation 1 website. That's what I have done for as a task. I mean, it was, can you imagine? I did my own Adobe Flash presentation and slideshow with the help of gorgeous and beautiful, lovely and graceful Nancy. That was amazing. And but that's what actually what I wanted to show you now. The picture that I'm showing, it happens like this. When you go to the conference South by Southwest, oh God, you see, I'm still old and I can't. Where is it? Even I hate Explorer. I don't remember Explorer anymore. I don't know how it functions, but somehow it does properly. Never mind. Okay, when you are at this conference South by Southwest in Austin, Texas, it's for geeks. And the guys, while people are having the panel, there is somebody who is drawing the map of this thing that they're talking about, and then they give you this thing. And I love this picture because it really speaks about what is happening now. The science of influence now is something that we have on the networks. It's not only for chatting, it's really for branding, it's for selling things, it's for branding myself, it's for sharing knowledge and for interacting and to do our little change if we want. So I just wanted you to see, you see, everything is like it always has been. You have to know like about everything. What? I mean, what do I want? It's not, and they say, it's not a popularity contest. So it's not like how many likes I have. It's not like how big my network is. But as our friend Shev from Sri Lanka does, he does something really important, goes to the school with the children in Sri Lanka, and he posts that. So we know that he's doing that, and it is a worthy content. Why? I mean, for anything in life, you ask yourself why, and how you're going to do that. You just take some tutorials and you know if you wish. So I'm trying to skip a little bit because I don't want to take Maya's time too. But at the end of the day, whatever you do, however savvy you are, these things actually stay. We build community. How can we contribute to our vaster community or the little communities and the change that we can achieve? Do we want to do a change? Is it just to say, oh, I'm changing the world, or we really can find ways to do our little changes like we are going to do, I hope, after these days, and to do changes maybe in each other countries, or maybe if we cannot do it in our countries, maybe that would be a good idea to think of. This one that Fadila says, it's completely, it blew my mind because I can't do that. I'm not prophet in my country, but I can be somebody from abroad in your country, and we are the region and we understand each other. So let's connect and let's be like Tuji Baba for other countries, and to be this the promoter of the change. I also have to do some publicity for Dr. Bill's job. See, whatever we said, oh, I saw this, oh, I saw that, and Dr. Bill would say, blog about it. And we set a little blog, and this reflection of our colleague Alexandra from Macedonia at that time was social media for social changes. Can we really use social media for social changes? I think yes, if we really know what kind of change we want to achieve. So it is ours to pick. where are we? And the question of branding. When you see this thing again, and I have to put it this way, and go further, and go back to this. You see that business and people are considered to be almost the same thing. Because branding yourself, when you build your personality online, you actually achieve to be somebody who is respected. You become somebody on social media and people count on you, which is really something. But also you will do the intelligent filtering. Why? I mean, you cannot grasp everything. So little time, so many social media. So you will just, as Maya said, I'm on LinkedIn and nothing else now, because from her filtering gave that result. I'm only on Facebook because my friends are there, my old friends who are everywhere in the world, and that's a little bit not too professional, so I can share something that is important to me, can be important to the community, but actually I want them to know. So maybe something else will be, I don't know, something else, something next. One thing that I've always learned about is social, you've heard about social capital. In the world of money, in the world of consumership, in the world of buying things, everything is capital, but our social capital is who we really are in the virtual community. So how do we achieve it? With all these little elements. Being there, I'm not there because I don't have time. From time to time I am, but that's not actually how it is done. And yes, I mean, I know that I'm guilty. Listening is also important because you observe what other people are saying, then you see your network. Maybe this is, I'm not going to contact too much with this person, but I'm going to have more of this other person. So the art of listening is something that can never be enough emphasized. These things are actually the same as on the picture from the conference that our online media teacher said. She just, Serena Carpenter, she just gave us these, the list of the things, and she said, just rewrite this and read it every day and do what is on this list. If you do it every day, your social capital will be, I mean, you'll be like the king of the social media. Okay. And one of the things that is really important and that everybody mentions is measuring. See, in the center, needle base, they said. Needle base was a kind of scrap machine, like to measure who digs you and who doesn't. But then Google actually bought them, and it's gone. But there are other things where you can really measure your influence and your reach. And those are, for example, like this. Octoparse is really good, and it gives you insights. You can write down that and go through all the little outlets to see who really you are on social media, and that's it. So let's see this, current plan, there. Okay, so just to wrap up briefly. So today, global leaders, and we are trained to be like global leaders, are global influencers. The influencers are now considered to be people who are like very popular girls who will tell you which kind of shoes you're going to buy or not, and they're called influencers. I mean, it works that way, but in our media, we want to be something else, but with the same means, because social networks, they work as they work. We have to have reach, so to see who you are really reaching, to listen who are these people and if you really want them. It is really unpolite to unfriend somebody, but sometimes you just ignore them and probably they will never, you will never hear from them again. To gain trust is really important. Online, I mean, we know each other and we agree together, but I really want to be somebody on the media. For example, as I mentioned, this guy Chef from Sri Lanka, in our region, somebody who is really good in social media is Ivana Dragicevic, because she's a very well-known journalist, and she never posts anything that is irrelevant. She always has either social critic or her opinion, okay, sometimes promoting her books. I mean, that's also okay. For example, Carmela Derci, she was in PDY program, she works in the Jutarnji list, and she really has a great social capital. So I think that those people are real influencers. So they really don't care about shoes and blues, but they care about social development. And if we really connect, just like Fabiola said, maybe we could be a little globe, the influencers of our little part of the globe, and then maybe we can really make our change. So I just wanted to share this with you. While we are sitting here, just do your little list. What network do I really need? Whatever I don't need, I'll just get rid of it. Who do I want to include? I mean, I don't want to be polite to some friend who is asking me, aren't you ashamed of yourself because your comment is like a little girl and like almost 60? I mean, I will never, I'll let her out. Who do you want to influence? Is that people like you? Is that new people? Is that your children? Is that their children, your children's friends? I mean, it's up to you. And how you can keep it going, you will figure out for yourself. And the question of all the questions, how can I make a difference every time? So that is also why, me personally, I'm not so much on the social media now, because it's not my task as it was during my Humphrey year, but I really have some doubts about my content. And maybe that can bring you to another, to a dead end, because nothing seems good enough for posting, and then you're not there. So I don't know. And to reach the goal of this discussion, I thought that we could maybe do something. If we want to create an active social network of us and people that we want to include, can we make a new value of it, now our Humphrey Fellowship experience, and not just like repeating, I was this and I was that and I did this and I did that. I mean, we are creating it, but let's know each other. Let's make each other know what you have achieved through some kind of network that you are going to do now. Maybe through the website that they started, Maya and Mila. I don't know. Let's contribute something. Let's write something for that website after we had this conference, and let's try to keep it going. And of course, we will do it useful and meaningful, because we are Humphreys, and we will probably be able to be a factor of positive changes. And this, I thought that we could be able to do. Are you posting anything on your social media now? Did you post anything on your social media during the opening ceremony at the summit? And while you were doing that, were you distracted from the content of what people were saying?
Yes, because you know I had to find the hashtag on Twitter while Dr. Bill was talking, so I took a photo, posted it on Twitter, tagged him, you know, so, and then I stopped because I couldn't concentrate, focus on what was really going on.
So I will ask the children, as we call you, students, do you have this kind of problem? Or you can have split attention without any problem? While somebody is talking, does it bother you that you are doing something else because you want to say to the world what's going on? And then the world knows, and then you don't know, because you were saying to the world, sending photos, and then after 10 or 15 minutes that you had probably problem that this camera didn't want to respond and so, and I realized that to post on my Twitter, on my Instagram, and on my Facebook, because I really wanted everybody who I wanted to know that, it was like 15 minutes. And it was already another speaker, and I was lost in this space of social media. So maybe that can be trained, I don't know, for us older people. Maybe for the youngsters.
You should practice more.
Nobody
practice.
can, nobody
Nobody
can
can.
focus on two things at the same time.
So
It's just
maybe
physiologically not possible.
it's not possible, the doctor says. So either we care or not.
It's just a matter of priority. It's just a matter of priority.
The
You
matter
cannot
of
be present in two places.
That's it. So priorities. Like in everything in life, it's just that our priorities everywhere. Good. And
Even if you're not posting on social media, you cannot concentrate all the time.
yeah,
There are a few
of course.
minutes now.
And if you do this, I mean, spend attention. Just close your mind. I do have a problem. I don't know what about you, but we have to be on social media and build our capital. I mean, how can I do all that? I don't know. Everybody will find for themselves. And just about a little bit reading suggestions. I love books. I still love books. And even if it's about social media, I like the smell. I like to go to my bed with the book and not with my laptop, but that's it. So if you find this book, share this from Diana Zand. I found it at that South by Southwest conference, but it is out there, and I mean, just you say share this and you will find it. Dan Schwebel, is he Schwabel or Schwebel?
I'm not sure.
Okay, that's the guy who came to our Must Mondays that we had at Arizona State University, and when he started talking to us about branding himself, and he is like a guru of branding himself, we people from the third countries, we were like, it's impolite. I mean, how do you show off with everything? And the guy said, the showing off is one thing and branding is another. So he will explain if you go there. This is amazing. This is for the people who have small businesses or so. The guy just said, I'm not going only to promote myself. I would say thank you to every guy who bought a bottle of wine because he started as he inherited a wine shop from his father, and then he became the guy who invented something new. Yes, it is economy, but it's not only about money. And of course, Christakis and Fowler, they are like in the general place. Okay. It is. Okay. Now to Maya. So we came to branding, and Maya is all about branding. Zađe da vi to. Jel imaš dosta vremena?
Ma kako ne.
Ok.
Vrijeme je na našoj strani.
In the meantime, may I just what
Yes, question.
Yes, yes, of course. Yeah, I'm just preparing my presentation.
my question would be, is there a segment that's coming from the social that we don't know, outside of this setbacks?
I could introduce you all. Make sure I make an announcement. I know you're not all from Croatia, however, our embassy here in Croatia offers an alumni small grants program that's available to all Croatian alumni. And for those of you from other countries, I'm sure your U.S. embassy there offers something similar. So I really want to encourage you. I'm sure you come up with some great ideas today. I've heard a lot of them. Please, we'd really like to help you make those ideas reality. So please do look for our grants program. In Croatia, we normally advertise it in November or December of every year. It's up to $15,000 for projects to do things like this, to hold conferences. We're very happy to fund regional programs as well. So if you want to grab one Croatian alumnus here and come up with an idea, we would love to hear about it. So I just want to I'll leave you with that. So I hope that some of these ideas you come up with today will get to share more. Thank you.
So let's go to networks, and we will find maybe money.
We heard something about words, obviously. But now you can tell us it's a very good presentation.
I have a presentation, but I didn't know that there's projector, so I think that's some slides, but I just, whether you want to see it or. I'm gonna skip some of the slides and Mila,
Yes, if you could just turn it around. If it's in my place, if you just turn around, they can see. No, because I need my notes. Okay, I'm sorry. Very
So, yes, so, sustainable development goals, yes. So, in Hungary, before I left to the US, I was dealing with circular economy, and actually I was the national expert for the this package in the European Council.
Damira, sto proprio da
Možda ćemo smetati drugi.
Neka smeta. Ovo gledaju nas iz Amerike.
It's a competition.
We have an audience from United States, so I would love to make sure that they could hear your beautiful lessons. We need the IT.
You are wonderful, but I don't know how to turn this on.
Push the button.
There is no button.
That's
So my name is Maya Chakra. I'm a Humphrey Fellow from Fairlibna from 2013, 2014. I was placed at Arizona State University in Phoenix, Arizona, where I studied communications, which is my field of work for the last 10 years. I was dealing with the public relations. Before coming to US, I was working with a public organization, but after finishing my Humphrey fellowship year, which was an eye-opener for me, I decided to turn to private sector, to market communication, and it has been challenging ever since. Today I work with a communication consulting company based here in Zagreb. Maybe some of you heard of it, but let's talk about that later. Well, I'm so glad that I can see so many people staying having lunch and wanting to know more about the media and communication skills. But before we start, let me just say a few words why did Daria and I decided to talk about this topic, except being a professional. Media and communication skills are universal skills. They do not apply only for PR practitioners. I strongly believe, and I saw that in my job, that it's not possible to be effective leader without having these skills. Besides that, in today's society, when everything's digital and social media takes place more than printed media, it's unsteady environment, and it's very hard and challenging to attract media attention and to tell your story. That's why media relations are also very important skill for any business or organization, whether it's private or public. So I believe that the importance of learning how to communicate effectively cannot be and shouldn't be underestimated. Let me just show you what do we have planned for today. So this presentation is divided into two parts, as I already mentioned. So we'll talk about some basic elements of a communication plan. This does not apply to a certain industry or a certain organization. It applies for everyone. These basic steps are generally applicable. The second part will be how to engage with media with intention, with their needs, which is very much a problem for everyone because we're so much afraid of media. How will they show our story? What will they write? Will our words be the same as we say? They have a huge impact on our lives, and they can destroy us or they can make us start. So no wonder that we are so much afraid. And since this is a workshop, we decided that the third part will be some work. If possible, we will divide you into groups As I can see, it can be 4 groups, and we'll try to craft a communication plan based on the case study that I already prepared for you. Don't be afraid, it's just a 15 minutes exercise, and we'll do it together. It's just to get you an idea how to do it. Okay, so why to plan a communication? I guess I already started to answer this question, but still, I want to hear from you. Please feel free to ask any questions in any time. You can interrupt me or just say what you think. It already, these pictures, I think, says a lot. But although it could seem very obvious, communication planning is often overlooked by businesses and organizations until crises occur. So whether it's a crisis or any sudden change, actually any negative publicity that the organization may have, communication planning is a burden of effort because it helps you to react quickly, because you already have your messages on place. However, planning a communication, it's not only important when a negative trend reacts or any kind of negative publicity. That's just one reason. Basically, good communication is equal with a good business. That's, from my experience, none of very successful businesses, they put a lot of effort on communication department, although it's not visible from the outside. Basically, private or public organizations, they need to outline 3 things. So what do you think what is the most important they should outline in the communication plan? And I will try to write it here on this flip chart. What could be the most 3 important things?
3.
Yes, 3.
May I start?
Sure.
As the best student. I believe we have to define our message, or like what kind of content we would like to publish, who is our audience,
Yes.
and what is the purpose of all of our communication. Should we attract something would we like to find inform, or like find a loyal audience, or try to just bring awareness about some issues?
Okay, so we are defining, so who are we talking to? Secondly, we can define how we will engage with our audience. And third, what we will say to them. Because the same messages do not apply to every audience, but we'll go through that in our 6 basic steps of the communication plan. So these 3 questions are the main when you're drafting your communication plan. As I mentioned, here are some 6 basic steps you can follow in order to create and execute a communication plan. We'll go through each of them, so just for you to get an idea of what it means and how to craft it. Well, first rule, analyze and do your research. So organizations need to think about how they stand out from from other similar organizations or competition. You can start with the question, what makes me unique from others? What do I do better? What do others value about my product, about my service, about my business? So these questions will help you to analyze where you stand out. And it's not an easy task to answer all these questions. We often advise our client to receive a feedback from a different audience they communicate. It's best to start internally with your employees, with your business partners, other business owners that you're in touch with. Also, oh no, sorry. Also, if possible, you can draft actually conduct an audit, communication audit. Do our students from Faculty of Political Science know what that means, maybe? What would be communication audit?
Communication audit.
Yes. Well, as any audit, you just analyze how you did your communication, which methods and channels you used, and was it successful, and did it reach your objectives. The good way to start is to brainstorm with your staff. If possible, conduct a survey. It doesn't have to be pricey. You can do it in no cost, such as using Google survey, the Google service, or SurveyMonkey. So this can help you to receive a feedback. Talk to other departments or analyze the media coverage. That's also very important feedback that you can receive. So the next step, after you have collected and evaluated all the information, is to define your business goals and objectives. So when I say business, I don't mean only market business. It can be a non-profit or a public institution, anything. Please feel free to understand this in this way. And questions that can help you, you can start asking yourself, what are the results I would like to achieve in defining your goals and objectives? What do I want to accomplish by implementing this plan? I don't need to emphasize that your goals should be SMART. We all know what that means. They should be very specific. They should be able. You should be able to measure it. They should be realistic and a time frame, actually time bounded. So you know in which time you are doing these goals. Let me say, for instance, if I want to improve my communication skills by giving more presentation, so the way that I can measure it is, let's say I will complete at least 4 presentations in next 6 months, and gaining feedback from participants can help me to understand have I improved my skills and things like that. So the third step is to choose your audience, which we already discussed. Actually, we need to identify whom we are delivering our messages. So listing all the audience is different for every business. It's not the same because you don't tell the same story. Your industry is different, but some audiences are the same for everyone. Can you think of some audiences that can apply to nonprofits, to political party, to private organizations? There are a few that apply to anyone. Can somebody have any idea what that could be, or who that could be? I will write it down.
Service users.
Sorry?
Service users.
So that would be like customers or clients, something like that?
For example, healthcare service users.
Yes, customers. Let's say customers.
Users.
Customers? Okay, that's definitely for sure one of the audiences that's important for everyone. How about media representatives? Very, very important audience.
Let's say stakeholders.
Yes, but stakeholder is a broad term. We need to narrow it down.
Authorities.
Local or national authorities, of course, that's important for everyone. So it can be locally or nationally.
Business partner.
Yes.
Employees.
Employees as an internal audience, which is often overlooked, but very important one. Partners. Oh, sorry. I will just use another page. Anyone else? Okay, I think these are the basics.
Donors.
Donors, maybe for your organization.
Project donors.
Project donors. That's for radio sector, very important. But not for everyone. Okay, I'm sure you got the idea what that could be. So, with audiences defined, the next step is creating tailored messages for each of them. So what that could be? The focus would be the communicating the most important to each key audience. But what's important, and I must write this down, messages should reflect your objectives. So, in every message that you're saying to media or any of your audiences, you should know your goals and objectives. So that's not for a reason why they come at the 4 PLEs. So not all the audiences are the same, not the things they share with them are the same. But that doesn't mean that your communication is not sincere or you're hiding something. It's just that your messages is different for each of them. For instance, your internal audiences, your employees, is interested in different messages. They want to know about new career opportunities or some financial package benefits or anything what's related to their post. Your customers would probably want to learn more about your new product or new service, or if you're referring to communicating in general, they might be interested what are you doing for the community, such as the CSR projects you're involved with. CSR is a great way for any organization to tell their story. This is something that we are always providing our clients. So basically anything else that's relevant to your goals and objectives for the client. The fifth step, when we decide to whom we are telling our story, it's much easier to define and decide on the channels and tactics. The best is to plan to deliver your message to key audiences through multiple media channels. So not just using one, but traditional and digital media. It could be a combination of online, traditional advertising, social media, newsletter, or any PR tactics. But it's the best to use combination of 3 media. Let me write that down. Maybe I should just stand up. So, combination of 3. So, paid media, owned media, and earned media. Who can tell me what's the difference between these 3? Students.
Well, paid media.
Marina, you're the best student.
I told you that I will be the best one.
The younger
I choose that role this time. Well, for paid media, we have to involve some money into our PR, let's say, strategy.
Yes.
And own media, it means that we have our own channels, such as Facebook page, we have booklets, we have flyers, something like that. And earned media, I would say that we have stakeholders who support our idea through their channels. So let's say that I'm a professor and I've developed some kind of awareness about education. And earned media could be like each and everyone from the academia who support me and try to share my idea and support me through their channels. If I'm on the good track.
Okay, so paid media is basically advertising. And it's very rarely used in PR. It's mostly used in marketing, but PR uses native texts. Owned media is something that you produce and execute yourself. So your website, social media platforms, any printed materials such as booklets, leaflets, newsletters. And earned media is something that you're basically supported by your community and the media. So the word of mouth is very important in this. And the media, of course. So when media writes about you and your organization without being paid and writes possible, it means that you earned it. It's not hard to, it's not easy to accomplish that, but it's possible. Okay. Any questions about this? Because you're all just standing there listening. Everything's clear. Okay. Let me continue that. And the sixth plan, sixth step. This is basically the point when we ask ourselves, what does the success look like? How will I know that my objectives are met? So like any business decision, you want to track and evaluate your results of your planning. So for each tactic, measure its performance. Did it meet your objectives? How much your traffic increased? Did you generate news coverage or attract attention from reporters or bloggers? How many people opened your email or visited your website? All this data is important for measurement and evaluation of your communication business plan. It could be in different form, maybe in monthly reports, progress reports, but also it's very important to decide who is the person who will execute the plan, so you can hold them accountable for that. Otherwise, you will just lost track in anything. If you don't have internal capacity to build it, it's always a good idea to hire a PR agency or a consultant or only graphic designer or writer, depends on your needs. Any questions about this drafting communication plan? No? Okay, then we can go through the second part about media relations. The question arises, is media relations art or a science? So what do you think? It's a little bit of both, yes, but how is it an art?
I think that very often.
Again, Marina.
Yeah, I'm really passionate about this topic. So I think that here we have a problem that many people see this topic as art, as just as a part of creative process of thinking about commercial and
It's
about
creative, yes.
Yes, it is absolutely. But very often we completely forget this science part, like data-based campaign. And I'm so thrilled that you share with us this kind of, let's say, small pieces of bigger picture.
Yeah.
Because if you could read some numbers and look what we have done so far good, we could do more in the future through our plan and all of these tactics that you share with us. But if we do just creative part and then forget to whom we are sending message, how they are likely to track and to be our customers, I believe that this essential part of science we shouldn't forget.
Yes, I agree completely. It's a bit of both. It's an art. It's an art of engagement. It's an art of engagement with your audience, with the media, on deciding which stakeholders are important, which media is the best to get your message through, what messages will be most appealing. That's the art part of the media relations. But on the other side, it's a science because it involves systemic planning and execution. That's why it's a science. So how to deal with journalists, this is a very important skill for any business wanting to raise their profile using media. So if you can establish a good process of managing media relations, your chances of getting media coverage is much higher. So this 5 steps basic approach can help you to build the relationships with journalists, which can of course lead you to more media opportunities. So first, and a very important step is to show respect to journalists. Because if you establish a bad relationship with them on the start, this can lead you even to negative media coverage. Always have in mind that journalists are under strict deadlines, and if they ask you for a comment or answer in 2 hours, then you should do it. Just stop everything you do and do it. If you do not deliver, then you're facing it with a negative coverage that you cannot repair. It's very hard to repair it again. So it's important to show that respect, that you understand their work, that they're under pressure, under stress, under strict deadlines. And if you cannot make it, it's not just to call them and to ask, can we talk tomorrow? I will show you more data. Today is not a good day because I cannot make it. But show that
I just would like to ask, I understand this attitude if it is about a crisis,
no
if it is,
any questions.
but then it's a thing about the mutual respect. For example, sometimes we just get a question from media, can we say something about a health issue because the journalist is writing an article and for example it's a health issue, or about some treatment, or about the attitude, or about the facts. And it comes in the middle of a very busy day, and it's not something that is burning topic.
But who is deciding is it burning?
Well, I'm saying it's not a crisis. For example, if the article is about the bad posture in children, it's about the scoliosis, it's about, so certainly it will be news today as it is tomorrow.
Yeah,
It
okay.
is not that there was some adverse event, for example,
Yeah.
at the hospital or something. So I think it's also a question of mutual respect. Because in order really to prepare the high quality information and to understand the context within the journalist is writing that article, you need some time, you need some contact. And sometimes we really feel people are treating us with disrespect.
Okay.
Because they just want information like this, like this, like this, and we have no idea this piece of information they ask from us as from hospital. Where does it really, where it will be placed, which piece of the puzzle is that? And it's usually also linked with the ethical issues about the patients.
Yes, I understand. But then again, it's all about the communication. You
that's
can
what I'm
ask them,
saying.
well, is it really
So it's not-
burning together today because we are.
My
under-
message is it's not 100% true that you need to respond in 2 hours, because sometimes, as you say, the communication, if we explain that it's better that we have a good conversation about the topic so we understand what journalist is trying to cover, so together we can make a high quality story. So if we need to choose between some superficial information that we do not want to give, or refusing to give information.
Well, it often happens, refusing giving information. I mean, if you start a bad relationship with a journalist, it's a battle that you will not win. Because at the end, they have the power. So, you will just
They're
get
not
this
starting the
negative.
bad relationship, they're starting the bad relationship with asking the question, which is not burning issue, to be responded by a clinician who's with the patient
Okay,
and
I
has planned to
understand.
be with the patient, so that's what I'm saying.
I just may add something. Yes, I think there are 2 rules here. The first one is media is always right,
Okay.
and the second one is you need to be kind and kind and kind and kind with the media people, that's it.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
saying that,
the same.
establishing relationship can lead you to be seen as a reliable source of information, and that is a success with media.
Yeah, but being kind doesn't mean that you have to accept everything, Because you can kindly,
You don't do that.
yeah,
You're just kindly postponing,
Exactly.
answering, they need to be
That's what I'm
kind,
saying.
and
that's what I'm saying, like, it's not.
If a
it's
journalist
not
is not going to have an answer in 2 hours, he will say that.
a journalist is always, I mean, you know.
Mostly yes, but not always, but
Yeah,
mostly yes.
they need to handle it in a nice way.
Yeah.
But sorry, if I could just jump in as a journalist, the piece of problem is that I have to deliver that story, let's say today, even though it's not a
Going to be
crucial
both
story.
published today.
Yes.
The question is, when did you get that assignment?
You know,
And per
like, we could
editor.
talk about editor perspective, about journalist perspective, and all of that.
Yeah.
But my piece of advice for you will be part of conversation. Don't close that door, because I will find another doctor, and that doctor maybe will not have your expertise, but still, we have to fit something into our.
She needs a story, she will get it, but you will just not get your heart, and that's the bad side.
I accept that this is really a very specific area, and for any journalist who wants to be involved in healthcare, it's really special.
Yes.
It's really a specialty, because you can
Yes.
have today to.
Usually they have
Yeah.
reporters
Who
who cover
healthy.
this topic, yes, so they understand the issue. Also, an important piece of information is do not lie to journalists or say something that you cannot prove because they will catch you, and it will result in negative media coverage.
Do not lie in general.
Do not lie in general. Try to get their number, to get their work. Follow them on social media, read their updates on Twitter. Journalists are mostly on Twitter or their Facebook account. So just show them that you're following what they're writing about. Also, understanding media role. There are so many media roles that media have, but I chose this work as I find them the most important, I would say. So agenda setting would mean I would like to hear from our students because they are student journalism and PR, so hopefully they're already heard about these terms and can maybe explain in one sentence what do they mean. Yes, we have one.
Agenda setting is when media put some theme in the media so that people can discuss it. People don't choose what they are going to read, but media choose that for them.
So yes, the media determines which topics are important in a particular time. Yes, that means agenda setting. So they are setting what's important. How about media as a gatekeeper? Or I'm not sure if that possible anymore today, but still we hope that they still will have that role. Any ideas what would that mean?
They choose what type of information we are going to get, which ones are more relevant to us and would make such difference to maybe a story or something, a point of view to us. That's how I see it.
Yes.
So they keep certain information, they choose what is more important
Yes,
and what isn't.
not just story, but the source of information. So not everything should get a coverage. That's the point of gatekeeping. But in today's world of social media, where anyone, anything, anyone else can be a journalist, the question arises: do we need gatekeepers? But yes, we do, because people need a reliable and intelligent source of information, because bloggers are not journalists. That's not the same thing. So we still need to be gatekeeping from journalists, especially in the light of fake news. So window to a society, what would that mean? So mass media is a window because it opens our eyes. We watch TV or follow social media, but there are so many things that we don't hear in the world, so the media opens our eyes in that respect. So in that term, it's a window to society. And the mirror of the society, how would that be?
probably the media is something that reflects society we live in.
Yes, exactly. It reflects the events that occur. Simple as that. I'm not explaining it anymore. Thank you for your answers. One of the most important devices is to personalize your pitches. So let me just say a few things about the media pitches. So pitches are inevitable PR tactic. However, we must use them wisely. Why is that? Journalists often get pitches, and research show that only 1 in 10, I will write that down because it's an important piece of information. 1 in 10 press releases and pitches get picked up and wrote stories. So basically, other pitches are just spam. One of the reasons why pitches get spammed is because they are not personalized. It's just sent out to all media outlets, no BCC, CC, so we can see it, to whom it's sent. And this is something that journalists do not like. They would like to see that you are following their work and that story is relevant for them. So, in order to know to whom to pitch, you need to follow their work. And actually, we always advise our clients to write an email something that refers to the latest work that a journalist did, like let's say, topic about artificial intelligence. It's just an example. You could say something like, I saw your work last week about artificial intelligence. It got a lot of debates. Maybe this research could be a good follow-up for you. Basically, you show them that you're following their work and it's personalized. Also important information, think visually, so your pitches should be covered with multimedia, with photos, with the videos, infographics. Media love that, so they can include it. Do not exaggerate with pitches. 2 or 3 paragraph is ideal pitch length. Other than that, they will just not read it. They don't have time for that. So the fourth advice, provide a newsworthy story. So these are some elements of what makes a story newsworthy. There are much more, but let's say these are the most important. So timing means that the media will cover topics that are happening right now, today, not yesterday, not last week, but today, because it shows significance. They will probably get more interested in local stories, so location is very much important. Although we do read stories about other parts of the world, but we are most connected to the ones that are locally close to us. Human interest is something of a special case because it appeals to emotion. We are always very emotional to something that happens to children or any human being. Let's say we all remember the terrible event of last week, what happened with the 4 children here in Croatia. So those kind of stories that appeal to other people, to children, that bring emotional crisis, I would even say. It's a very hot topic for media, as well as any conflict situation, especially in politics. And last but not least, we always advise our clients to be available. If a journalist wants to do an interview with you and you're not able, it's important that you try to find a replacement. It can build your relationship and they can see you as a reliable source of information, which of course leads to more media opportunities in the future. never say no comment. By saying this phrase, journalists will immediately think that you're trying to hide something or you're not telling the truth. I think it's better that you just explain why are you not able to answer the question rather to say no comment. And always prepare for the interview. You can even practice with questions they might ask you so you're ready. Okay, this would be a few basic tips and tricks about media relations. Any comments, questions about this, or are you ready for our task? 10 minutes, we have a task. Who would be interested? No. Okay, so we have a task, or if you need to leave or you don't have
Let us
time.
know what would be the task.
So the task would be about the crisis communication of Agrabah. It's not an easy task, but we would do it together. Instead of that, we can just chat about this, what we said before. If you have any more questions, the newsworthiness, personal speeches, or anything, you should talk to me. Okay, I can talk for 45 minutes. Which one?
Maybe you can show us the task.
Yes, but it's printed. It's printed. I printed it out. It's not on the slide.
What do you think would be a good idea, for example, in the past, we had one crisis situation in our hospital?
Okay.
And I remember
What
how,
kind of situation? Sorry.
it was,
Crisis.
it was a crisis situation, yeah.
Okay.
So that happened several years ago. I've been through that situation and it would really, I think we did pretty well, but it would really be of help, for example, if we go through that
Okay.
situation.
Yeah. Let me hear. Do you want a microphone? Sure.
Oh, well, if you're going to shoot, it's not really because I'm talking about the hospital. So.
Oh, so you think it's a